What's up everybody, Commander Sanctum here, and today we have a brand new deck tech using Katara the Fearless. Katara is a 3/3 human warrior ally for green-white-blue that has, if a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So basically, a Panharmonicon style effect for ally creatures. While the bending techniques are my favorite thing about the Avatar set, the return of the ally creature type is a close second. I love allies from past sets. They're basically like slivers if slivers were more fair. What's not to love about that? For this deck tech, we'll be going all in on the allies, with every creature in the deck being an ally, most of which will have some sort of trigger that'll be doubled by Katara. We'll supplement this with utility cards that work well with allies, and some ways to make sure we can re-trigger some of our ally effects to get them doubled a second time. With that, let's get into the card highlights. As I mentioned, we're going to have allies and a lot of them. Most of the old school allies had an effect that triggered whenever it or another ally you controlled entered, making them work better the more allies you have. What better cards to start out our allies with than those? For this, we have Undo Cleric, an insane life gain ally that gives you life equal to the number you control whenever it or another enters. Halimar Excavator, in turn, mills cards from an opponent's library for the number of allies you control, making it a great alternative win condition in the deck, especially given just how much we'll be able to trigger its effect. Turntimber Ranger not only gets bigger whenever you play allies, thanks to the counters it gets, but also gives you a 2/2 wolf token, which will easily give you a massive army quickly thanks to Katara's doubling effect. Tajuru Warcaller and Tajuru Beastmaster have the same old school ally ability, with these ones pumping up your entire board whenever an ally enters. The Warcaller gives all your creatures +2/+2, while the Beastmaster gives +1/+1. Factoring in Katara's doubling effect, and your entire board will be absolutely massive after only a few allies entering, easily letting you end the game quickly. Earth King's Lieutenant is similar, giving all your other allies a +1/+1 counter whenever it enters, but with the added effect of continually getting bigger itself as you play more and more allies. Needless to say, the Lieutenant will get very big very quickly, making it a super effective attacker, since it also naturally has trample. Continuing with the old school ally ability, we have a few that permanently pump themselves up whenever an ally enters, making them effective combat creatures for us. Kazandu Blademaster and Hada Freeblade both do the same thing whenever an ally enters, with both of them giving themselves a +1/+1 counter whenever this occurs. The Blademaster naturally having First Strike and Vigilance makes it an absolute force to be reckoned with, both on offense and on defense. Talus Paladin also gives itself a +1/+1 counter, but with the added benefit of also giving your allies lifelink for the turn. While this particular effect doesn't gain much from being doubled, other than the counter of course, it's still a nice added bonus, especially given how easy it'll be to make your ally army absolutely massive power-wise. For some more allies that give all allies various keywords, we have Kabira Evangel, which gives allies protection from a chosen color whenever one enters. Thanks to Katara's doubling effect, this means that it'll only take 3 allies entering to give all your allies protection from all colors, letting you do pretty much whatever you want with them. Hero of Goma Fada, instead, gives all your creatures indestructible, providing a different, albeit less effective, form of protection for your creatures. The most important thing about this one, however, is that the indestructible applies to all your creatures, not just your allies. While this really won't make a difference in this deck, there may be situations where it does come in handy, such as if your opponent Beast Withins or Generous Gifts a permanent of yours and gives you a non-allied creature as part of it. South Pole Voyager is a nice bit of extra card draw in ally form, giving you a life and a card whenever a single ally enters, assuming you also have Katara out at the time. To help control your opponent's board, we have a few allies that'll perform some action whenever they specifically enter. Rowdy Snowballers will tap a creature and give it a stun counter whenever it enters, while Tai Li Chi Blocker takes us a step further and taps a creature and keeps it tapped whenever she enters. Momo Rambunctious Rascal enters and deals 4 damage to a tapped creature an opponent controls. With Katara out, this can be useful to take out a larger creature by doing 8 damage to it, or 2 smaller creatures by doing 4 damage to each of them, making it a versatile removal ability. Aang Swift Savior can act as another form of pseudo-removal, airbending a creature or spell whenever he enters. While they can recast it, the fact that he has Flash makes him a great answer to an attacker, or even some sort of board wipe or other nasty spell being played against you. Forecasting Fortune Teller is simple but effective, giving you a clue, or 2 with Katara, whenever it enters. The Earth King is a pretty phenomenal ramp spell, giving you a 4/4 bear and letting you ramp out basic lands whenever they or other powerful creatures attack. The best part is that Katara will double even this attack trigger, meaning you'll be able to search out twice the number of basic lands, making it a great way to just empty out your deck of all your basics very quickly. While these next allies don't get any benefit from Katara, since they don't have triggered abilities, they're still very important, since they give you two of the most powerful things in all of Magic: ramp and card advantage. Seagate Loremaster taps to draw you a card for each ally you control, while Harabaz Druid taps to give you mana equal to the number of allies you control. While they don't do anything particularly flashy, these will absolutely be some of the best allies you'll have, since they'll enable all your other ally shenanigans going on, so should certainly not be counted out. Since most of our ally effects trigger off an ally entering, why not take advantage of this by using tokens? Honestly, ally tokens are going to be some of the best ways to trigger our effects en masse, making them excellent choices to really maximize their effects. Thankfully, there are a number of cards that give us specifically ally tokens. For allied creatures that give us allied tokens, we have Kyoshi Warriors and Invasion Reinforcements, both which enter and make a 1/1 ally token. Katara Water Tribe's Hope also does this, with the added benefit of having a Waterbend ability that can make all our creatures more powerful from a base level, making it easier to kill our opponents with damage. The best part about all these cards is that Katara will double their enter triggers, giving us double the tokens, meaning casting each of these will net us 3 total allies for our other abilities to trigger off of. Retreat to Emeria is a great modular enchantment for us with landfall. Whenever we have a land enter, we can either make an ally token, or give our creatures +1/+1 until end of turn. While this effect won't be doubled by Katara, it's still a great way to get more tokens out, or wind up for a finishing blow on our opponents. Suki Kyoshi Warrior is similar to the previous cards, though creates a 1/1 ally whenever she attacks, as opposed to enters. Aang and Katara does both, creating tokens whenever they enter or attack, but also making a variable number of tokens instead of only one. Honestly, Aang and Katara can get out of control quickly, since they create allied tokens equal to the number of tapped creatures and artifacts, which, when doubled, is a great way to get a massive number of tokens all at once. Speaking of a massive amount of tokens at once, United Front is a great way to do this, letting you pump a ton of mana into it to get a ton of tokens out of it, while also giving all your creatures a +1/+1 counter to boot. A different type of front, a unified front, can net you up to 3 allied tokens, or 4 if you're able to generate a red or black mana, making it a nice way to get a burst of tokens for all our abilities. Allied Teamwork only makes a single allied token, but has the added bonus of also giving you an ally-specific anthem effect, making it another great way to make tokens while simultaneously boosting the power and toughness of your army. Since the vast majority of our allied triggers are enter effects, why not run some flicker effects to get them to re-trigger again? For this, we have 2 of the staples of the flicker strategy in Cloud Shift and Ephemerate, both excellent and cheap ways to both protect a creature from targeted removal and re-trigger those sweet ally abilities. Ghostly Flicker can also be used for this, costing a bit more, but with the added benefit of being able to flicker 2 things, and not just creatures, but artifacts or lands as well. While those extra permanent types probably won't do too much for us in this deck, you never know. It may come in handy if you need to untap a mana rock or land for some extra mana. Eerie Interlude and Another Round both flicker out creatures en masse, with the added benefit of you being able to choose which creatures actually do, as opposed to simply all of them. This is especially important with our token subtheme, since flickering out tokens will make them just vanish from existence and not actually return. Another Round has an added benefit of being able to flicker out multiple creatures multiple times, though admittedly it can be pretty costly to do so. Still, the fact that it's an option in cases where you have some extra mana to spare makes it a phenomenal choice to get the most allied triggers as possible. We also have access to some utility cards that work either specifically with allies or simply very well with a specific creature type. For the ally-specific ones, we have Sokka's Charge, a true conviction type enchantment that only affects allies and only on your turn. While the Your Turn clause is a bit of a detriment, the Only Allies clause won't impact us at all since, well, all our creatures are allies, making it an absolute beater of an attacker-oriented enchantment for us. Hakoda's Selfless Commander is not only an ally himself, but lets us play ally spells from the top of our library, effectively giving us an extra card in hand most of the time. You could even sacrifice him to protect your creatures from some damage or destruction-based board wipes, making him a great defensive card as well. Reflections of Littjara isn't specific to allies, but is phenomenal with allies nonetheless. Since most of our allied triggers are enter effects, the fact that Reflections can get us another copy of whatever ally we're playing means double the triggers. Combining this with Katara means that playing a single ally card with an enters ability will net you 4 triggers of that effect, and 2 creatures, which can quickly overwhelm your opponents with advantage. I also wanted to specifically call out some card draw sources that work well when focusing on a single creature type. Vanquisher's Banner is kind of the old school artifact that does this, providing an anthem effect for the chosen creature type, but also, and more importantly, letting you draw a card whenever you cast a creature of that type. Kindred Discovery is similar, though replaces the anthem effect with the card draw attack trigger instead. The best part about this card is that it's for each creature of that type that attacks, not one or more. This thing does some serious card draw in a deck like this, easily being the best source of draw in the entire deck. Distant Melody is a one-time effect that draws you a card for each creature of a type you control. For 4 mana, this thing can easily draw you upwards of 10 or more cards in most cases, making this another phenomenal source of burst draw. Finally, we have some general utility cards that work well with our overall theme of allies. Herald's Horn is a creature type cost reduction and pseudo card draw effect that works well when running a ton of one creature type. And There Shall Know No Fear is a great protection spell when running a single creature type, even giving the creature a slight power boost, making it an effective offensive or defensive spell to use. Keeping with the Ally Enters Triggers theme, we have Blade of Selves, which will make temporary token copies of a creature whenever it attacks. While we won't probably care as much about the damage these tokens do, the fact that they get created and trigger their own enter abilities and those of other allies makes it a phenomenal way to get as many triggers as possible. The tokens will even see the other myriad tokens entering, making for a slightly confusing and hard to follow, but extremely powerful chain of allied triggers that can easily overwhelm an opponent. Here's an example deck list utilizing all the previously mentioned cards. Additional cards include more allies and ally cards in Oran Reef Survivalist and Gideon Ally of Zendikar, creature type specific removal in Harsh Mercy and Raise the Palisade, and some ally utility lands in Ally Encampment and Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. I really can't stress just how much I love the theme of allied creatures in Magic. Like I mentioned before, it feels like they're the fair version of slivers, giving each other bonuses or otherwise benefiting from playing more and more of them. While slivers tend to have more static effects that apply to them all, allies instead generally focus more on triggered abilities whenever they enter, making for a more fun, in my opinion, style of playing. And while I tend to dislike the recent slew of cards that act as panharmonicon effects for different scenarios, of which it seems like there's a new one every set, I do actually enjoy this one with Katara. Again, I might just be a bit biased with that due to my love of the ally creature type, but it just fits so well with the overall themes that the creature type uses that it's hard not to enjoy. I also don't know if it's just me, but it seems like there's a lot of decks in this set that benefit from flicker effects. Seriously, 3 of the past 4 Avatar deck techs I've done have featured flicker cards prominently in them. I don't know if that's a theme of the set or just again my personal bias is showing for how I like to play Magic, but it is an interesting observation I've had making these. Regardless of all that, I do think that this deck will be one that will be an absolute force to be reckoned with. There's just too much synergy going on here for it to not be able to spiral out of control quickly. Whether that's with the insane life gain you can achieve, making an army of massive creatures with the +1/+1 counter allies, or just overwhelming the board with so much advantage that it'll be hard to come back from, there's a lot going on here that can happen very quickly. If you also enjoy allies as much as I do, or just love extreme synergy in your decks, then give Katara the Fearless a try. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. I hope you enjoyed watching this deck tech on Katara the Fearless. The full deck list outline in this video can be found at the Architect link at the top of the description. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to drop a like and comment, as well as subscribe to the channel for more Magic content. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.